What up guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back in the shop today. Kind of really slacking on videos here lately. It seems like I'm doing like one, maybe two a month. I think I've gone a month without posting a video. The weather's starting to roll over and it's starting to have a little bit nicer days, a little bit easier to be out in the shop getting things done. As you can tell, we got the Raging Raisin here. We're gonna get back on this project here pretty soon. We've got a lot of work to do to this thing. But we got some racing coming up and we've got to get the Mustang ready. A couple months ago, we had the Mustang out. We were doing some testing because we just switched the exhaust housing on the Mustang, and then we put travel limiters on the front of the Mustang too. And we had taken it out to Streetcar Takeover. We were running the 530 index class with it out there, so we didn't get to really try to see if the travel limiters helped with our 60-foot issues. And then we changed the exhaust housing in hopes to get this little T480 a little bit more room to grow. Streetcar Takeover, we did pretty good, went out. There's a video on that. You can go back and see that. I'll put a little something up here for you guys to go back and see that if you want to. Car did really good there. It's been a few months now. The car's been sitting, and shortly after Streetcar Takeover, we took the car out. We were gonna try and do some testing and try and lean on the car a little bit to see if those changes made any difference. And first pass, the car ended up doing something funny on the starting line, and I was pretty sure we broke the rear end. So we loaded it up, brought it home, and the car's just set ever since then. That would have been the very first week of June. But I moved the Raging Raisin off the lift. We put the Mustang on the lift the other day, and I was just in a mindset to tear this thing apart because I was already certain there was gonna be some major issues, and the rear end in this car is really expensive and I don't have the money to fix it. So as you can tell, we've got the axles out of the car, we've got the third member out of the car. I really wasn't sure what I was gonna find. I kind of felt like there was gonna be a ring and pinion issue. I don't think there's actually anything wrong with this car. I've got the axles and all the axles looked fine. None of the splines were messed up or nothing like that. Really don't know what to think of the noise that I heard when it did it. It did it on the starting line. We're gonna do a couple things. We're gonna try and get this thing back together. I've got to put new axle bearings on this thing. It actually had some old roller bearing axle bearings in it, and they felt a little rough. Not the noise that I heard, you know, whatever. Axle bearings won't cause the issue that I thought I heard. So we're gonna put new axle bearings on it. I've got to set on the shelf. I don't know if they're gonna work or not. I got to do some measuring on those. You know, get everything back together and sealed up, get the drive shaft and stuff back in the car. And then one thing we've always had issues with this car is a fuel issue. This thing has always had a fueling issue, and I think it's related to maybe the power wires and stuff on this car. So we're gonna rewire some stuff. We're gonna add some bigger gauge power wires, some bigger gauge ground wires. We are gonna do some checking on the charging system to see if there is an issue. I've never really sat down and checked the amperage and voltage and all that stuff on it. I started up, if it shows good voltage on the dash, I pretty much just roll with it. But there are some other things you can check to see if maybe there's just not enough voltage to supply the big injectors, coils, you know, sparking at 1,000 horsepower, and you know, trans coolers and radiator fans and all this stuff, the electronics and stuff that go on this. I can't really check load there. So there's a couple things we're gonna check. We're gonna try and see if we can get this sorted out, because the fuel pump that's on this thing should be big enough for the power this thing makes, and we should have some more room to go, but like 26 pounds of boost, this thing probably, I don't know, we'll just say it makes 1,000 horsepower. This fuel pump, the MagnaFuel, I don't even know what this one is. It's not the 4303, it's a 4103. This thing's rated for like 250 horsepower more on E than the old 4303. So this thing should be pretty big. And it should do what we need to do with this thing, but we got to figure this out. I would like to be able to get the car to leave harder on the starting line and then not have to put as much in it on the back end, because I really want to see like a 110 60 foot with this thing. The car's gone a 120 60 foot. I'd like to see like a 115, but we just gotta make some changes and check some stuff and see if we can get there. But anyways, I'm gonna get to cracking. I'm gonna try and get this rear end put back together, get some axle bearings put on this thing, and then we'll go through and try and check this charging system on this thing and see if we can get the fuel system to come around. All right, so we got some stuff in the mail from Amazon here. The Mustang currently has, I believe, 2 gauge wire on it. So I went ahead and picked up some 0 gauge. This is what we're gonna put on the car in hopes to try and help with the charging system. Obviously these kits from Amazon come with terminals and heat shrink, so that'd be nice. We can heat shrink everything up. I did 0 gauge, and then I got some 8 gauge because I want to try and rewire relay for the fuel pump and try and hit the relay with some more juice. I'm hoping that this is going to fix it, because I mean 2 gauge isn't bad, but we've got a lot of electronics on the car, so maybe 0 gauge is the way to go. And since we're doing 0 gauge power wire, I'm gonna do some 0 gauge ground wiring as well. And then like I said, we're gonna do some checking and seeing if there's some resistance in the charging system as we have it now. Anyways, gonna do some more stuff here, try and get this rear end put back together, and then we'll work on the charging system. All right, so we got the third member back in, got it all sealed back up, put a new gasket and stuff on it. Now we're getting around to finishing swapping out the axle bearings. And I wanted to use the set 20 bearings, but these axles are actually machined down a little bit smaller down here on this lip. So the normal A20 bearings that you would normally get for a 9-inch wouldn't work. I'm gonna get to doing these. We'll button up this rear end, and then we'll try and get back to the electrical side of this video. All right, so we got the rear end back together. We got her all filled up with fluid and everything. So now we're gonna try and dive into the electrical issues, or what I assume is electrical issues with this car. And we really gotta get this sorted out, and hopefully we can get this fuel pump a little bit more room to make some more power. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our meter out here, try and not knock my hood over, and we're gonna test the alternator output. So we're gonna fire the car up. We're gonna turn the fans on, the headlights on and stuff. Basically everything that kind of loads the alternator. And we're gonna check at the back of the alternator what we have for voltage coming out of it. All right, so we got 14.5 coming out of the back of the alternator. So we're gonna make some notes. So voltage is 14.57. So now we're gonna come back here, we're gonna grab our meter, and we're gonna check voltage at the battery. All right, and now we've got volts at battery post is 14.07 to like 0.08. So I mean, we've got a 0.5 volt drop from the alternator to the battery. That 0.5 drop is pretty well ideal. It could be better. It could be like 0.25. I think it's what they really want. So as far as resistance goes, like it's kind of within the threshold from 0.25 volt drop to a 0.5 volt drop. So, I mean, we're kind of good there, but I still think I might put this 0 gauge wire on it and see if we can help it. But there's a couple other things we're going to check while we're at it. Next, we're going to check the ground side. So we've got one lead going to the negative post on the battery, and then it goes up to the other lead, connects to the body of the alternator. So you start it up, and then you only want a minimum of like 0.25, or I guess it would be maximum of 0.25 volts. Let's see what we've got. So we're at basically 0.04 and dropping, gonna be just fine. So that basically showed like 40 point something millivolts, which is fine, which means we don't have a bunch of resistance on the ground side of the charging system. But like I said, you know, it's just idle. There's, you know, you're just firing the coils and stuff. There's a lot of electronics in this thing that see load going down the track. So I still think I'm going to go ahead and drop the 2 gauge wiring, and I am going to rewire the fuel pump relay here a little differently. See if maybe we can get this thing to get a little bit more juice to the pump, and maybe we can get a little bit further out of this pump and get it to go a little bit faster. We made it to the track. We got the red car out here, and we're going to do some testing and tuning tonight. We did get the rear end back together, as you saw earlier. We got all the battery cables and stuff changed out, so hopefully we can get this thing to go down, see if it's got fuel pump issues still. We may end up having to put a bigger pump in this thing. Mainly just want to see if it'll go down and see if it's got problems. We'll load a tune up in this thing. Probably gonna turn it down because it's a little chilly, and I feel like the track's gonna be a little cold. But maybe get some cars going down, and maybe it'll tighten up a little bit, and then we'll go up for our first pass. So we'll see when we get up there. All right, so we made that first pass. It was not good. It didn't make it out very far before it spun the tire. So we're gonna pull the tune up here, check it out, see what happened or see what it looks like. I think the track's pretty cold. I know a couple cars after me in the same lane had the same problem in the same spot. So there might be something on the track there. Troy said something to the track guys like, hey, you probably need to look at that spot because something's happening there. But the next time we go up, we'll definitely try and pick which side of the lane is going to be tight. Right side looked pretty tight on this pass. So we may just start running them in the right lane. I did turn the car down a little bit, turned it down on the starting line. We were trying to leave on like 11 pounds there. And, you know, it just spun the tire. But I did go ahead and click it into second, or I did go ahead and kick it into high gear and try and run out the back and see what the back side of the track was like. And it seemed like it was pretty good. I think the car made like 24 pounds. And I don't even know if I ran it all the way to the 8th before I got out of it. And it only trapped like 122 mile an hour or something. So we're gonna go over this data, see what it looks like, make a change or not. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how the track comes around, and we'll go back up there for our second test. So as you saw there on that second pass, the car tried to stand up on me a little bit. I gave it a quick pedal. It wasn't up as high as it felt like it was, and that's one thing about this car and the way I feel in it. It always feels like it's really high up in the air, and that thing might have been 5 or 6 inches off the ground. So not much. I probably could have stayed in it and it probably would have been all right, but that's about the point where the boost ramp starts to get pretty aggressive, so it may have just wanted to keep going. I don't know. I don't normally let it get up high before I pedal it. Track was pretty green, so on this second pass, we ended up taking the travel limiters off of it and giving some travel. But that's one thing this car likes to do is whenever you untie it and you try and leave on some boost, this thing wants to wheelie really bad. Track got better, so on this next pass, we decided to tie it back down again, and I actually took 100 RPM out of the leave on it as well. And normally I try and get this car to leave on like 14, 15 pounds because I leave in second gear, so the car needs some power to get it to move the way it needs to with this 5.3 and stuff. So let's show you the third pass and see how that one goes. So as you saw there, car did really good. Front end stayed down. On this particular pass, like I said, we did lower the RPM a little bit on the starting line. Everything else was exactly the same. Car's 24, 25 pounds of boost and out the back with a 0.8 second ramp. So everything's pretty much all in really, really fast. That's the only way this thing's going to move and do what I need it to do to get it to run the numbers that I want it to run. I really want the car to run a teen. I think it can do it, but we're still having fuel issues. Once this thing gets up around 24, 25 pounds of boost, the fuel pressure doesn't seem to stay one-to-one with boost pressure. So we are going to have to try and probably just put a bigger pump on it. That's all I can think to do at this point. We'll pull the MagnaFuel 4103 off. I'll probably send it in, get it looked at, get it inspected, see what the deal is. But I think we're just going to have to bite the bullet, and we're going to have to put a big Aeromotive pump on this thing. Even just to run 530s, but not lean on the injector so hard. On this pass, the car was like 85, 86%. And anytime we get up to like 90% duty cycle, the car starts to run funny. I've heard that with Terminator cars from other people that for whatever reason, they don't like to run the injector duty cycle real high into the 90s. They have issues. But the car did PB 60 foot on this pass. It went a 118 60 foot. I've been trying to go a teen 60 foot for a little while. Tying the front end down, tire pressure, RPM, and all that stuff played a really big part. Luckily, the track had started to come around a lot, and the weather was cooling off a bunch. I think the DA at this point was like 21 or 2200 foot. And as the year goes on, we get into October and stuff, the DA will start to come down, and I mean, we could potentially go pretty fast. But car went, like I said, 118 60 foot. It went a 337 at the 330, and then went a 524. The PB 8th mile ET for this car is a 523, so we were right on top of it. And this pass, we did it with about 2 pounds less. Normally I run about 26. It'll creep to like 27-ish on the shift, but then it kind of levels back off and pretty much holds 26 out the back. This was on like 24, and it would spike to 25 on the shift and then leveled off. It was about 24 and a half pounds. So overall, great day for the car at the track. It was good to get it out. It was good to not hear any weird noises from the rear end and stuff, because like I said, we got it apart, didn't find anything, so that was good. We've got some racing coming up here pretty soon. Hopefully there won't be as much of a gap between this video and the next couple videos. We're gonna order a pump. We're gonna try and go racing soon, see if we can get this thing go a little bit faster. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I can't thank you guys enough for coming along on this whole deal, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.